Well, looks like we're up and running. I'm just gonna turn the mute down so we don't end up with any feedback. And hi, everybody. And we are live and 5 minutes to show. So, couple of interesting things this week going on. First and foremost, it's 4 days since a whole bunch of new material entered the public domain in the United States. As you know, the U.S. has, up until last year, had a 20-year ban on any items entering the public domain. And so it had been nearly 100 years since anything produced in the 20th century came over into the public, since anything produced actually in the 20th century at all came over into the public domain in the U.S. This made life difficult for people like me who are conservationists who want to enjoy these programs, share them with other people, keep their story and their history and everything involved with them alive for future generations. And then suddenly, there's all this material. Last year we had Cold Cart Blues by Louis Armstrong and a whole bunch of other great music, including Yes, We Have No Bananas. This year we got Rhapsody in Blue by George Gershwin and a number of other Gershwin tunes, actually. We're going to talk about that before the end of the month. I'm going to do a whole public domain show. But most importantly, The Thief of Baghdad, starring the late great Douglas Fairbanks, became available. It is one of the greatest silent films ever produced and one of the first real action films ever produced. And it's available. We're actually running it tomorrow on Silent Sundays on the Phantom Star, and we are seriously looking forward to sharing that with you guys. And a whole bunch of other great public domain material that, as I said, we're going to do a special show for sometime before the month of January ends. So get ready for that. We're not doing newscasts during the program anymore, so probably the most interesting news after new public domain material is Star Wars Rebels apparently is being developed as apparently there's a sequel being developed. You guys who've been following the Phantom Star on radio for a long time know that this is one of my all-time favorite television shows, animated or otherwise, and that it's also one of my favorite pieces of Star Wars material. After Star Wars, I refuse to call it A New Hope, and Star Wars The Empire Strikes Back, probably my very favorite piece of Star Wars material that's still in canon is Star Wars Rebels, and I cannot wait to see what they do with it. There's also a release date for Season 7 of the Clone Wars, which Disney has just produced. That's going to be February 19th, 2020. So you guys who've been kind of left in the lurch by the sudden cancellation that can't think anymore. You guys have been left in the lurch by the sudden cancellation of Clone Wars a few years ago. New Clone Wars is on the way, and it's on the way in a little over a month. So hang in there. The good stuff is coming. All right, so we have about 2 minutes until airtime for the proper show. I want to thank all of you guys for listening, particularly the Hoaglands, Christopher, Monica, John, Laura Kellner. Thank you for listening. Who else? Ron Marr. All of you guys who listen to the broadcast or watch the broadcast now, and especially you guys who jump in at Patreon and help us to keep the lights turned on and continue to improve the show are just so important to us. We love spending our Saturdays with you guys, and we look forward to doing it for many, many, many shows to come. And we can't wait to show you all the cool new stuff we have set up. Now that we have video up and running and we're actually running TV, we're going to be doing something more with this platform on a regular basis, including showing you guys movies during the live show, showing you bits and pieces and previews of things that we run on Phantom Star TV, and maybe even doing a little RiffTrax style stuff as we go through the coming year. We are at 9 o'clock, so it's time to get started. You guys will see the Starfield next, and then you will see the theme. All hands on deck, all crew to stations. We're gonna throw the big red switch in 3, 2, 1.
Greetings, friends. This is Buckner Woodward with People for the Ethical Treatment of Fantasy Realm Creatures, or as we have come to be known, PetFrack. Today I have some questions for you. Are you the last of your tribe? Do you wander through the Hyperborean age, clad only in a loincloth and maybe a helmet with a horn or two on it? Do you only feel complete in the chaos of battle and bathing in the blood of your enemies? Do you have serious Cimmerian anger management issues? Then, friends, you might be a barbarian. Today, PetFrack would like to offer a simple workshop in barbarian anger management. Instead of plundering and pillaging and just generally making a mess of everything, perhaps you should look at the causes of your anger and barbaric rage, and then take steps to calm yourself. Before proceeding on a barbaric rampage because someone has threatened harm to your significant other, perhaps you should simply sit back and relax. Yes, that's tip number 1. Relax. Go to your barbarian happy place. And if your happy place is a battlefield, strewn with the bodies of your enemies, but that makes you feel all warm and happy and floaty, then you just go there, friend. Next, before taking it upon yourself to do harm to others, remember to remind yourself that you are a good person. Say to yourself, Conan is a good barbarian. Conan is a happy barbarian. People like Conan, and Conan likes people. Please remember that before you drive your sword into a dark wizard's heart, he might be a friend waiting to be made. Say to yourself, Conan is a warm, cuddly friend. Next, remember to talk your grievance through with a trusted friend. What's that you say? You have no trusted friends? None but this gleaming sword in your hand? Then, friend, talk to your sword. Say to it, Sword, I am angry. I want to act angrily. Sword, please help me to understand how to avert my anger. And if you still end up on a bloody rampage, well then, perhaps you should be keeping company with a better class of cutlery. A nice paring knife, or perhaps a melon baller. Next, if your anger knows no bounds and simply refuses to be constrained, perhaps you should hit a pillow. Perhaps you should hit a pillow hard with your sword and send its feather guts all over creation. Think about it, friends. How good would it feel to crush your pillow, see it driven before you, and hear the lamentation of its women's? Finally, take responsibility for your actions, friend. Conan knows Conan was bad today. Conan is sorry. Conan will work to control his boundless rage. Conan did not mean to spill your guts all over the living room. Conan will strive in future to be a kinder, gentler, friendlier Conan. Thank you, friends, for participating in this Barbarian Anger Management Workshop. And please remember, as Eve St. George says, barbarian rage only serves to kill everyone around you. The civilized man profits by his civilization because the civilized man doesn't murder, he litigates.
As long as I'm flying, that means that I'm free. Out in the black is like heaven to me. Stars shine like diamonds in the black velvet night. I'm telling you true, 'tis a beautiful sight. Round about those stars are planets that spin, alliance and rebel, women and men. As long as I'm flying, that means that I'm free. Out in the black is like heaven to me. Whatever your side, wherever you roam, there's room in the black that you can call home. Rovers and outlaws, companions and thieves, there's room in those skies for all who believe. As long as I'm flying, that means that I'm free. Out in the black is like heaven to me. The signal went out and I answered the call. It led me out here to sing for you all. So pour me a beer, boys, let's toast to the black. As long as I'm flying, there's nothing I lack. As long as I'm flying, that means that I'm free. Out in the black is like heaven to me. As long as I'm flying, that means that I'm free. Out in the black is like heaven to me. As long as I'm flying, that means that I'm free. Out in the black is like heaven to me.
Thank you, Mark Gunn. Hey guys, welcome aboard for another episode of the Phantom Star on Saturday night. I'm working on my backlit problem here. Stick with me a little while and we'll probably get it improved before the evening is over. It looks like we are bottoming out a little bit on the stream, but we'll fix that in just a minute. You guys hang in there. If it gets a little choppy, it'll come back. So we have a lot of fun stuff to do tonight. Eve St. George will be joining us a little later. But for now, while Jason is away, I've got a movie quote for you. See if you guys can guess what it is. I'm going to turn the Starfield on for a second here.
A young politician must seek outside aid in dealing with a trade dispute.
So, what do you think? Can you guess Jason's poorly described movie? If you can, type it in chat at thephantomstar.net. And if you're listening later, well, we'll tell you later on in the broadcast. So, let's see here. We got a lot of fun stuff. Let's drum up a couple of long time favorites to begin with. I'm feeling nostalgic tonight. I don't have visual for these guys, so just sit back, relax, and listen. We're going to play Beam Me Up Scotty, followed by, just for Monica Hoagland, the first time ever on the video show, we're going to play The Blob by The Five Blobs. Here we go.
Life sure is boring down here on earth. It's all full of work and no thanks. The rich folks get richer and the poor still are poor, and the middle class works for the banks. So beam me up, Scotty, oh beam me up, Scotty. Life's full of troubles below. Beam me up, Scotty, oh beam me up, Scotty. I'd like to get up and go. My wife left me Thursday and took my new car. She left me the kids and the bills. Let's swing to a planet near some distant star. You could cure all of my ills. Beam me up, Scotty, oh beam me up, Scotty. Life's full of troubles below. Beam me up, Scotty, oh beam me up, Scotty. I'd like to get up and go. I realize the Enterprise could civilize the savage beast that beats within my heart and calm me down. Talk to Spock, the Captain Kirk, I'll do my work. Oh please deport me, won't you teleport me up off the ground? Beam me up, Scotty, oh beam me up, Scotty. Full of troubles below. Beam me up, Scotty, oh beam me up, Scotty. Life's full of troubles below. Beam me up, Scotty. Beam me up, Scotty.
Beware of the blob, it creeps and leaps and glides and slides across the floor, right through the door and all around the wall. A splotch, a blotch, be careful of the blob. Beware of the blob, it creeps and leaps and glides and slides across the floor, right through the door and all around the wall. A splotch, a blotch, be careful of the blob. Beware of the blob, it creeps and leaps and glides and slides across the floor, right through the door and all around the wall. A splotch, be careful of the blob. Beware of the blob, it creeps and leaps and glides and slides across the floor, right through the door and all around the wall. A splotch, be careful of the blob. Beware of the blob, it creeps and leaps and glides and slides.
User attempting manual override. Authorization Highwayman 02269. Welcome aboard, Captain. The con is yours.
The Phantom Star presents Futures Past, the best sci-fi from days gone by. And now, your host for this week's program, Captain the Phantom Star, Highwayman.
Yeah, that's me, and you guys might have noticed from the little tag that ran before the picture came up that we're running an episode of Dimension X this week. I thought it would be fun to revisit some of the old favorites for new viewers and some of the ones that we haven't played 15 times over for you guys who've been with us for a while. So we played this particular episode of Dimension X a while back. It's entitled Untitled Story. And I haven't been able to determine whether or not Frank M. Robinson, the author, didn't give the story a title, or whether he gave the story the title Untitled Story. It's kind of hard to figure out. But Robinson is an important guy with regard to science fiction anthologies, particularly the magazines. He originally published Astounding magazine, and contributed to Analog. He contributed, interestingly enough, to Playboy for a very long time. And he's a fairly prolific author both of short stories and novels. His novel The Glass Inferno was borrowed from heavily for the good old-fashioned disaster film The Towering Inferno. But I'll let you guys judge for yourselves what you think of the piece. This is an early time travel story from the 1950s. And it uses some conventions that are not strictly accepted in modern time travel stories. See what you think. Here's Untitled Story on Dimension X.
Adventures in time and space, told in future tense. The National Broadcasting Company, in cooperation with Street and Smith, publishers of astounding science fiction, bring you Dimension X.
My name is Donald Hasten, private investigator. Maybe you heard about me. I cracked the Turner kidnapping back in 1946. It wasn't very hard. I paid off a few stool pigeons and went right to the hideout. It did my reputation a lot of good, though. Enough good for me to be called into the mayor's office down at City Hall to see Big Mike Flaherty himself.
Well, sit down, Hasten. Sit down.
Thanks.
You'll have to forgive me for speaking so low.
That's a bad case of laryngitis.
Yes, it is. Hasten, I've been a fool.
You didn't get to be mayor of a city like this by being a fool.
Well, you know, Hasten, when you get old, you want to believe a lot of things. You want to believe so hard that sometimes you throw your common sense right out of the window. You get hardening of the cranial arteries. You become stupid.
Well, what's the pitch, Mr. Mayor? You didn't call me in to discuss the philosophy of growing old gracefully.
Hasten, I want you to do some investigating for me. Naturally, it must be confidential.
This is a confidential business.
All right. Yesterday, a man came into this office and sold me a vial of radioactive water that he called the elixir of life. It's supposed to cure you of any disease and keep you healthy enough so you'll live 100 years.
It's none of my business, Mr. Mayor, but how much did you drop on this gold brick?
It's about $50,000.
You You don't seem the type somehow.
Hey, come a little closer, Hazen. I'm going to tell you something my political opponents would give their right arms to know. This isn't laryngitis.
It isn't?
It's inaccessible for surgery. X-rays would be dangerous. How much time I have left, I don't know. But I live like a man who's going to the chair. Hazen, if I want a vacation, I pack up and go. If I want a drink, I take one. If somebody comes to me with a vial of liquid and says it'll keep me alive, I think twice before I throw him out as a crackpot.
What do you want me to do? Get your money back?
No, the money isn't important.
You mean if the loyal opposition got hold of the story, they could use it against you?
That's part of it, Hazen. However, you don't have the whole picture yet. Shortly after I bought the stuff, I received an anonymous phone call. I was warned not to take it. I was told it was poison and would kill me in a matter of seconds.
Ah, the plot thickens.
You can appreciate my position. I feel like a man who can either save his life or destroy himself by taking that stuff.
Well, the phone call might be a hoax.
Yes. And so might the elixir of life.
Yeah, very likely. What do you want me to do about it?
Investigate the man who sold it to me. Find out who's behind him, what he knows, where he goes. Nothing else, I want that 50 grand back.
What's in it for me?
$1 grand. If he's on the level. 10% if you get the dough back. Deal?
Deal.
Here's the vial. And here's his card.
Uh-huh. Arthur C. Lehman, longevity expert, 45 Billings course. Okay, Mr. Mayor, you got yourself a boy.
Good. Now leave your working name and phone number with my secretary. I'll have her send you a check.
Right, I'll call you.
You were in there a long time. How'd you make out?
Swell. I bought the outer drive for only $10 and the cost of mailing.
That's kind of high. Last week we were selling it for only $5.
I'm sorry. I've been listening to too many detective programs.
It isn't polite to stare.
I was just wondering what your name was.
Sign on the desk says Katharina Cooper.
I'll call you Kathy. Oh, I'm supposed to leave my name and phone number.
Go ahead.
The name is Donald Hasten. But then you knew that, honey. You've been listening to the mayor call me by it for the last half hour. You forgot to shut off the intercom switch. Big Mike's getting kind of careless, isn't he? The look on her face said she was feeding me to the vultures piece by piece. I left my card and walked out. By the time I got home, it was dusk. It was the time of early evening when every bachelor wishes he wasn't one, especially after meeting a girl like Kathy. The phone began to ring just as I put my key in the latch. I made it on the fourth ring. Hello?
Is this Mr. Donald Hasten?
I live alone and don't like it. Were you expecting someone else to answer?
This is a warning, Mr. Hasten. Don't touch your bed.
I'm sorry, but I don't like to sleep on the floor. The joys of being a private detective. Oh, hello, Jocko. How's my boy? That's a good boy. Now, Jocko, be glad you're not a private detective with all kinds of crackpots calling you up and trying to get your goat. Nice boy. Sometimes I wish I had shaggy ears like you so I couldn't hear them. Come on, boy, come on. In the bedroom for a change or something coming up. Hiya, boy. You want to go out? Well, you just wait until I sit down here and get these shoes. Hey there. Don't jump on that bedspread. Now, you know better than that. Jocko. Jocko! Oh, God. The bedspread closed on him the way a Venus flytrap closes on a fly. When I looked more closely, I saw that the bedspread had silvery threads of fine spring steel woven into it. It had been set like a bear trap to spring shut and strangle anything that touched it. Somebody wanted to get rid of me pretty badly. Somebody to whom I had suddenly become very dangerous. Instead, they got Jocko. My poor little Jocko. I decided to take a fast drive over to Billings Court to see Arthur Lehman, longevity expert. What? I'm looking for Mr. Lehman's office.
I'm the janitor.
You didn't need to explain.
He isn't in. Mr. Lehman isn't in.
I just said I was looking for his office.
Oh, a detective.
Now, I'm really a vacuum cleaner salesman. I just had these credentials printed up for fun. Here, buy your wife a muskrat coat.
I can't take any money. I'll just keep this till it's spent.
What floor is it on?
Up those steps, rear.
Thanks. this. There we are. There should be a light switch somewhere. Let's see if I can...
Perhaps I can be of assistance. Looking for someone?
Mr. Lehman?
Yes.
The janitor told me you weren't in, so I...
You picked the lock.
Yes, I hope you don't mind.
Not at all.
If you'd put down the gun.
I like to hold it. It gives me a feeling of power. Now, Mr.
Hasten.
Mr. Hasten, if you will tell me just who you are and what you're doing here.
I couldn't sleep. My bed had a dead dog in it. I thought I should consult a health expert.
Who sent you?
Nobody sent me. I'm like Topsy. I just growed. I'd like to keep on growing, Mr. Lehman. I don't like people trying to kill me. And I don't like people killing my dog.
What makes you think I would try to kill you?
Just a hunch.
If I really wanted to kill you, I could do it right now, perfectly legally, since you broke in here.
That'd be hard to prove.
Fortunately for you, Mr. Hasten, I don't have the faintest interest in trying to kill you. On the contrary, it was I who telephoned and warned you about that bed.
You know about that phone call?
I ought to. I made it.
What's the pitch, Mr. Lehman?
I can't tell you what the pitch is, Mr. Hasten, but I will tell you this. Give that vial of liquid back to Flaherty and let him cure himself.
Or poison himself.
Sure.
Look, Mr. Lehman, I wasn't born yesterday. Don't give me this elixir of life stuff. There ain't no such thing. And don't try to top me off this case by pretending you're on my side.
Mr. Hasten, I warn you, you're playing around with something much too big for you to handle. That vial is the only one of its kind in existence today. The liquid it contains will cure Flaherty if he drinks it.
You know, I've seen lots of carnival men peddling flukum and ink sticks, but you're good. You almost convinced me. Almost, but not quite.
Oh, a very stubborn fool, Mr. Hasten.
Give back that $50,000 and I'll become very unstubborn.
I have a suggestion.
I'll bet you do.
Why don't you siphon off the tiniest drop of that elixir and have it tested on, say, a rabbit? Then, if it's non-poisonous, you can go back to Flaherty and have him drink it.
And while we're proving it's Carmel water, you're on a fast boat to outer Mongolia with 50 G's.
Come with me.
Where to?
A reputable biological laboratory, any one you choose.
Suppose I don't want to play.
Then I'll kill you. You will feel my gun against your side, so don't try anything. Shall we go?
Before we do, just one thing.
Well?
If you didn't try to kill me, who did?
Who else knew about it?
Nobody. Nobody except Flaherty, you, me, and Flaherty's secretary.
Shall we go, Mr. Hasten?
Oh, yes. I believe I could make such a test. Of course, it would mean injecting a blister CC into an infected guinea pig. Then we'd have to wait and do a biopsy.
How long would it take?
24 hours at least.
Okay, how much?
$50.
My friend will pay you.
Your friend?
Yeah, the gentleman will... Holy jumping sunfish.
Sir?
Look, you saw me come in with a guy just a minute ago, didn't you?
Yes, sir, but he left when you started talking to me.
Isn't that just dandy?
Is something wrong?
No, nothing much. You know what Barnum said about one being born every minute?
Yes, sir.
Well, he was talking about me. Well, I better get going.
Oh, yes, sir. Oh, sir. What about that test?
Okay, I suppose you might as well do it just for laughs. Send the report on the bill to Donald Hasten, private investigator, Cater Building.
Yes, sir.
I knew there wasn't much point in going back after Lehman. He was probably well on his way by this time. It was an all-around phony story from beginning to end. But still somewhere, hanging around the edges of my brain, was a funny kind of hunch. If Lehman had wanted to kill me, then who called me up to warn me? Lehman himself? Why? It didn't figure. I stopped to look up an address in the phone book, and then I invested 10 cents.
Hello?
Kathy?
Yes?
This is Sherlock.
Oh, I'm glad.
Glad?
That you called. I wanted to apologize to you for eavesdropping this afternoon.
Why don't you do it over a cup of coffee? I have to talk to you.
It's very late.
We'll sleep late tomorrow, please.
All right. Where will I meet you?
There's a coffee shop near your place. I'll be there in 15 minutes. She came in wearing a blue nylon dress and a short gray jacket. They went real well with her blue eyes and soft blonde hair. She seemed genuinely happy to see me. It threw me for a few seconds. And then I reminded myself I had already won the P.T. Barnum Award once that night. Sit down, Kathy.
What is it?
Do you know a man named Arthur C. Lehman?
Am I supposed to?
I'll refresh your memory. I had a talk with His Honor about him.
I don't remember.
Look, I used to have a little Scotch terrier named Jocko. We liked each other. He used to lick my hand. All I want to know is, are you mixed up in it? What goes on?
I don't know anything about it.
Listen, Kathy, maybe I'm getting sentimental in my old age, but for a moment there, when you walked in, I thought you seemed genuinely glad to see me. Was it because you were glad I was still alive? Come on, give.
Don, I like you. You're a nice guy. Why don't you let it alone? Call Flaherty and turn down the assignment. Give him back his vial and tell him you're not interested in finding Lehman. Would you do it?
If you want to help me so much, why not tell me what it's all about?
I can't. I'd like to, but I can't. I've told you too much already.
Somebody's got you real scared, honey. Who is it? You're too nice a girl to be mixed up in this garbage with a guy like Lehman. Come on, tell me.
I can't. Just believe that, please. Get out of it now before it's too late.
Okay, honey, you can play it that way if you want, but to me it's as thin as a bowl of restaurant soup. Poor Jocko knew something and couldn't tell me. You know something and you won't tell me. Good night. I didn't go home. I spent the night in a local YMCA, and I didn't sleep very well. It went around and around in my brain like a squirrel in a cage, but it didn't add up to anything when it came out. In the morning, I went straight to my office and locked myself in with a bottle of gin. By 10 o'clock, I had decided to quit the job, but before I could call Flaherty and tell him, the phone rang. Go ahead.
Mr. Hasten.
You got it.
This is Dr. Gregory of the Bayside Biological Laboratory.
If you want the money...
It isn't about the money.
What's up?
Mr. Hasten, do you have the formula for that serum you gave me?
No, I know a guy who might, but he's in outer Mongolia by now. Why?
Well, I've never seen anything quite like it. I don't know if it was just a freak of fate or
What happened?
Well, that pig, that diseased guinea pig, Mr. Hasten, well, it completely recovered in 12 hours. Not only that, Mr. Hasten, but there is not a trace of the malignancy. That pig looks healthy enough to live another 100 years.
I could feel the sweat soaking into my undershirt as I put down the receiver. Where do we go from here? Was Lehman on the level after all? The next stop was Lehman's office. Maybe he wasn't in outer Mongolia. It was noon before I got there. The same janitor was on duty in the same dirty lobby. Hello there.
Hi. You want something?
Lehman.
Who?
Lehman.
Never heard of him.
Now, wait a minute, Junior. You remember me. Last night, $5, rear office, first floor.
I don't know what you're talking about, mister.
Oh, you want another $5, huh, Junior? Well, this time I don't buy. Get out of my way.
Now, listen, mister. I can't let you just walk into that office.
I'll try to stop you if you want to work tomorrow.
But there's nobody in there. That office has...
We'll see about that, Junior, right now. Holy mackerel.
I told you, mister.
The room was bare. There were caps on the electrical outlets. Everything in the room was covered by a 6 weeks accumulation of dust that was undisturbed except for the footprints of the janitor and myself. Yet yesterday there had been a rug, telephones, desks, chairs, file cabinets. I checked the door number. 1B, that was it, all right. Then I checked the janitor. He was standing there just looking stupid. But he looked a little too stupid. I figured I could make him talk, so I tried an old trick. I reached inside my hat band, took out an ordinary pin, and jabbed him hard on the arm.
Hey, Al! What's the big idea, mister?
Sit down, Junior. Sit down over here on the window ledge.
Okay. Now, listen, I don't know anything.
Maybe you saw something like this in the movies, Junior. There's this guy, see, a killer. And he sticks another guy with a needle that has a slow poison on the end of it, like I have, right in this little glass vial. See it? And only this killer has the antidote. If the other guy doesn't talk, it's curtains in 1 minute. If he does, the killer will give him the antidote. Okay, Junior. Talk.
Well, I don't believe you. There's no poison in that pin. It's a joke.
It's up to you, Junior. Don't you feel something different, though? Feel your heart speed up a little from the poison?
Now, listen, I don't know anything.
It makes you sweat, too. When it reaches the brain, that's when it really begins to work. You got 30 seconds to spill. Otherwise...
Please.
25 seconds.
Okay. He was here. He gave me $100 to forget it. He rented the office only a couple of days ago, and then last night he said he was moving out. Said I shouldn't mention to anybody that he'd been here. And now a lady was gone. Files, furniture, and all. Don't know how I moved all that stuff out so fast. That's all I know, Alice. That's all I know. Now, for God's sake, mister, give me that stuff. Don't let me just croak. I feel it in my
Relax, Junior. There was no poison. You're all right.
A trick.
Yeah, a trick. Thanks for the information.
A trick. It's a trick. He said he'd kill me.
Thanks again. There was Mr. Hasten again, right back on the horns of the old dilemma. The only thing I knew for sure at this point was that the serum was apparently not poisonous. And since my client was most concerned with that, I made my next stop the office of His Honor, Mayor Big Mike Flaherty. I had the vial in my coat pocket. Hello, beautiful.
Oh.
I want to see His Honor.
He isn't in.
I'll go into his office and wait.
You can't.
But I can. Come on in. I want to talk to you anyway.
Please.
Come on. Shut the door, huh? No? Okay, I'll shut it. Now sit. Okay, baby. Let's have a heart-to-heart conversation.
I see you didn't listen to my warning.
No, I didn't. What's more, I found out that this layman character is on the level about the serum. It works.
You found that out, too.
That's right. It leads me to an interesting conclusion, Kathy. Namely, that you're the one who tried to booby-trap me.
All right. Have it your way. What do you intend to do?
Well, first, I'm going to give Flaherty that serum and let him cure himself.
You mustn't do that.
Why not?
I can't tell you that you mustn't. Down in a few minutes, Mike Flaherty will be here. Before he comes, I'll have to ask you to give me that serum.
Try again. I don't hear so good.
Maybe you'll hear this. It works, too, so don't try anything.
Well, well. So now it comes out. Okay, Kathy, if you want to play that way, go ahead.
Give me that serum.
Why don't you shoot?
I warn you, I may have no choice. Give it to me.
Pull the trigger, baby. You're weakening.
Don, please, don't make me kill you. Please.
What is it, baby? True love or just weak in the knees?
Oh,
You better hand me that gun.
Oh, Don, what could I do? I'm so mixed up.
Yeah, that's better. Now, what is it, Kathy? You're no killer. Tell me what's going on here. Maybe I can help you. You gotta trust me.
No, I can't, Don. Believe me. I want to, but it's against the prime injunction.
The what?
Oh, you wouldn't understand. There's no way I could make you understand. Only believe me, Don, because I love you. You mustn't let Layman succeed in giving that serum to Mike Flaherty. The consequences would be unimaginable.
You know, Kathy, if you had come to me and leveled right at the start, maybe we could have worked something out. Maybe I'd be listening to you now. But you're a little late, because I just heard Big Mike come into the outer office. He'll be here in a second.
Don't, please.
Come in.
How do you do?
Layman.
I see she's been trying to get the vial from you, Mr. Hasten. I was afraid of that. I came over to make certain that Mr. Flaherty is permitted to drink the serum.
Well, that's very noble of you, Layman, but I don't quite understand it. You have your 50 grand. What do you care whether Mike Flaherty lives or dies?
Mr. Hasten, if Mike Flaherty dies, the opposition candidate will win the next election. That means a new political party will come into dominance in this city. The next president will be a representative of that party. I am most anxious to see that does not happen. The entire future of our country, indeed the history of the world, would be affected by it.
He's telling the truth, Don. But events must be allowed to take their normal course.
Don't listen to her, Hasten. She's tried to kill you once. She'd do it again. You know I'm telling the truth about that serum. She wants to see Flaherty die. Go ahead, ask her.
It's true, isn't it, Kathy? You want Mike Flaherty to die.
You don't understand.
Listen, I'm getting pretty fed up with being told I don't understand. Understand what? I understand that in the past 24 hours somebody tried to kill me. I understand that Layman's serum will cure a guinea pig and probably a human. I understand that unless I'm completely insane, the entire contents of Layman's office vanish in a few minutes. I understand that you two seem to be more concerned with some nonsense that's going to take place in the future than... Holy smokes. Oh, no, it's too fantastic. It's just too fantastic to even think about.
Something troubling you, Mr. Hasten? Perhaps I can help you.
Perhaps you can, Layman. I'm going to ask you just one question.
Very well.
When are you from? That does it, doesn't it, Mr. Layman? I've guessed your game.
I'm afraid you have, Mr. Hasten. I am, as you surmise, a traveler from the future. And since you've stumbled upon it, perhaps Miss Cooper here would like to fill in her part of the story. But before she does, up your hands, both of you. Higher. Don't move. I'll take that gun, Mr. Hasten. Now, Miss Cooper, you may enlighten our backward friend.
Go ahead, Kathy.
Both Layman and myself are from the future, Don.
Why didn't you tell me?
I couldn't. The prime injunction to time travelers is never to reveal their identity. The penalty is death. Since you've guessed it as we feared you might, there's no point in trying to conceal anything further.
Go on.
Mr. Layman's a fugitive from the era in which we live. Using one of our time machines, he came back to your time. And he thought to change things so that he'd be in a position of great power in the future.
How do you figure to do that?
If Flaherty lived long enough, he could dominate the political picture in America.
You're almost right, except in one detail, Miss Cooper. Flaherty will not survive. He will live only long enough to gain a position of political dominance. Then I will remove him, and my own ancestor will take over the reins of power, leaving them eventually to me.
I get it now. But there's one thing that bothers me. Who was trying to kill me?
I was. You see, I was sent here to track down Layman. I set that spring before I met you, as soon as Flaherty hired you to help him. I did it on orders from the council. They were afraid you'd be successful in saving Flaherty's life. Then, unfortunately, I fell in love with you and couldn't go through with it. I called and warned you.
You took credit for that, Layman.
I wanted to enlist you on my side, Mr. Hasten. However, it makes little difference at this point, since you know the entire story. I had little choice now.
Do you think you can get away with this?
I believe I can, Mr. Hasten.
There are two of us here who know your plans.
By the time Mr. Flaherty returns to his office, there will be only one. Myself. Goodbye, Mr. Hasten. It has been a pleasure.
Not without a fight, you... Not many people know how it feels to be shot in a forest. I saw Kathy jump toward the desk and push a button I hadn't noticed before. I remember a thud as if I'd been sandbagged, and then watching in amazement as the crimson spread down the front of my shirt. Then there was a loud roaring noise and everything went black. I died.
Don't try to move, Don. Don't move yet. It'll take a few minutes for you to feel like yourself.
What? Holy jumping sunfish. I'm sitting in Flaherty's office. The blood. There was blood on my shirt, and it's gone now.
Here, drink this.
I don't understand it. Have I been dreaming? Is the whole thing nothing but a nightmare? Well, it seemed so real that there was a man named Layman. He pointed a gun ahead and shot me. I felt it. I tell you, I felt it.
Don, listen to me. Listen carefully. There isn't much time. And please, darling, please, this time, believe me. Listen.
Go ahead.
You were in this room. Layman did shoot you. He killed you.
You're insane.
No. What he didn't know was that this office is a time machine. We rigged it that way, hoping to trap him here and take him back to future time. When I saw he was about to shoot you, I jumped to the switch that sets the machine into reverse. We went back into the past, before he killed you. That's where you are now. It's only a few minutes before Layman is going to knock on that door and come into the office.
But it's too fantastic to believe, Kat.
It's true.
What can I do?
Break the vow. Break it now before Layman gets here. And then, when he comes, get the jump on him. Since you're the one who went back in time, you'll remember, but Layman won't.
What'll happen to us?
We'll appeal to the council. Perhaps they'll let us stay together.
I can't make my brain believe this, Kat.
You must, Don. Don, for our own sake, for the future's sake. Break the vial now. In a moment, it'll be too late.
Well, I don't know, Kathy. Flaherty, his life depends on this little glass bottle.
Don, please. It's Layman. Don, you've got to decide now. Now, quick. Thank God.
Come in, Mr. Layman. We're ready for you. This time.
You've just heard another adventure into the unknown world of the future. The world of...
Dimension X is presented each week by the National Broadcasting Company in cooperation with Street and Smith, publishers of the magazine Astounding Science Fiction. Today, Dimension X has presented Untitled Story from the current issue of Astounding Science Fiction. It was written for radio by George Leffers from the story by Frank M. Robinson. Featured in the cast were George Petrie as Hazen, Ann Sargent as Cassie, Bernard Lenrow as Layman. Your host was Norman Rose, music by Albert Berman. Dimension X is produced by William Welsh and directed by Fred Way.
So there you have it. That was Untitled Story. Now, for those of you who don't know about Frank M. Robinson, I'm going to give you a little bit of information. I have him pulled up right here on Wikipedia, and I'm familiar with his bio, but I don't want to forget anything. So, Frank M. Robinson was born in 1926 and passed away in 2014. He's an American science fiction and techno-thriller writer born in Chicago. He served in the Navy in World War II and put himself through Beloit College, where he majored in physics. When he couldn't find work, he went back to the Navy and ended up serving in Korea as well, where he kept writing and published Astounding magazine. After the Navy, he entered grad school for journalism. He worked as a reporter and a columnist. He switched to Science Digest. And then went into a career in gentlemen's magazines, Rogue, Cavalier, and eventually Playboy had him take over the Playboy Advisor column. He moved to San Francisco in the 1970s and was a speechwriter for politician Harvey Milk. In fact, he has a small role in the film Milk. He was co-executor with Scott Smith of Milk's Last Will and Testament. And he was himself gay. He was inducted in 2009 into the Chicago Gay and Lesbian Hall of Fame. Robinson has contributed a number of stories that weren't directly adapted but were borrowed from. I mentioned The Glass Inferno, which became part of the basis for The Towering Inferno. He also wrote a story called The Gold Crew, which was eventually filmed at NBC as a miniseries and retitled The Fifth Missile. He is probably the most important figure in science fiction anthology magazines from a standpoint of keeping pulp culture alive over the years. In 2000, he won the Lamont Award for Lifetime Achievement at PulpCon. Just a neat guy. And, you know, sometimes I'm poking through the internet and I see things that say, oh, well, you know, those people, and they're talking about the LGBTQ community. I'm sorry, I have trouble with the letters. I'm mildly dyslexic. But how they've just popped up and they're brand new and all that. And honestly, guys, this is a writer who's been working since the 1940s here. There's no these people. They're part of us. And we, they, them, they've always been here. And they've always contributed. And Frank M. Robinson is a perfect example of that. Now, I promised Christopher Hoagland that I would give him a look at my Christmas present. This is my Christmas present from Yves St. George. For those of you who don't know what this is an antiquated instrument. This one was made by Gallopin Gerdes. It's called a hurdy-gurdy. And hurdy-gurdies are played, interestingly enough, by turning a wheel that rubs against the strings and vibrates them the way, say, a violin bow would. And for someone who doesn't know how to play a hurdy-gurdy, attempting to play one can quite frequently sound like strangling a cat. Let me show you. Yeah, I'm making the whole neighborhood miserable this week. It's great. But I did manage to write one little song for the hurdy-gurdy. It's a short song. It's called Getting Out of Jail. Would you like to hear it? Okay. Here's my song, Getting Out of Jail. That's my joke for the week, guys. So, on to more, well, less torturous fair. Let's try the Monsters from the Id. We haven't heard from them for a few weeks. Monsters from the Id, for those of you who are new, is our house band. We don't have a picture of them because, well, we can't afford to replace the camera. But I'll pull the Starfield up and you guys can enjoy Enterprise Blues. Here we go.
Stand by to receive our transmission. He's dead, Jim. He's dead, Jim. You really piss me off.
Hello, listeners. I'm Crewman Mullins. You know you're in for something. Between the time when the oceans drank Atlantis and the rise of the sons of Arius, there was an age undreamed of. Sword fighting, monsters, guys getting limbs cut off. Bloody violence, some nudity, and some sex. Sci-fi action and violence. Welcome to Adventures in Adventure. I'm your host, Dirk Valiant. This week, we will be continuing with the continuing adventures of Tom Corbett, Space Cadet. When last we left our heroes, they found themselves stranded on an unexplored planet while attempting to discover the fate of several previous expeditions which had gone missing. As Tom Astro and Captain Strong worked to ensure everyone made it through this deadly serious survival situation, Roger Manning worked to ensure that audiences would want to reach through the radio and smack him upside the head for being a dumbass. Will their ability to adapt and overcome the planet's dangerous environment be enough to continue to keep them alive? Find out in Marooned with Death. Part 2.
In exactly 6 minutes and 45 seconds, there will be an important announcement from Space Academy Supply Headquarters. So stand by. And now, Kellogg's Pep, the build-up wheat cereal, invite you to rocket into the future with Tom Corbett, Space Cadet.
Stand by to raise ship. Blast off. -5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0!
As roaring rockets blast off to distant planets and far-flung stars, we take you to the age of the conquest of space with Tom Corbett, Space Cadet.
4 previous expeditions have gone hurtling through space to distant Delport, a planet outside our solar system, and have never been heard from again. Now the Polaris has landed on the planet's surface, but almost immediately its space cadet crew finds itself marooned there by a nova explosion. Setting up camp in a veritable tropical paradise, they are about to make repairs on their ship when Tom Corbett discovers signs of habitation, and at once the space cadets set out to investigate.
Close up, men. Stay together.
We must be getting pretty close to the colony now, Captain Strong.
Yes, Corbett. It should be just over that next rise.
I'm keeping my paralo ray handy, Captain.
All right, Manning. But remember, men, no matter what we find, you're not to fire unless I give the order. Is that clear?
Aye, sir.
Right.
Hold up a minute, Captain.
What is it?
I thought I caught a glint of metal through the brush over there.
I see it too, sir.
About 5 yards to my left. Shall I investigate?
Go ahead, Manning. We'll cover you.
Take it easy, Roger. Jumping jets, look what I found.
What is it, Manning? Come on, then.
How do you like this? It's the wreck of a spaceship.
It's one of ours. You can tell that at a glance.
Well, there's the answer, Captain Strong. This is the wreck of one of the earlier expeditions.
Sure, and those huts we saw must belong to the survivors.
You're quite right, gentlemen. Quite right on both counts.
Jumping Jupiter, where'd he come from? Watch it, Roger. Keep that gun down.
By the rings of Saturn, sir, you must be...
Captain Yates of the Cygnus. Ah, yes.
Well, that was Expedition 1.
I think I know you, too, sir. Aren't you Captain Strong of the Solar Guard?
That's right. I'm mighty glad we found you, Captain Yates. You've been given up for lost, you know.
Naturally, it's been such a long time, dear me. Well, now that you're here, let me welcome you to my planet, gentlemen.
Thank you.
By all the suns, you don't know how good it is to see someone from Earth again.
We almost overlooked your valley, Captain. If we hadn't been flying low, we would have missed it.
Well, I'm certainly glad you didn't. Not that we have much hospitality to offer here, but if you'll come along to the village, we'll try to give you a royal welcome. And now that you've met the surviving members of my crew, I would like to present my daughter, Arlene.
Welcome to our colony, gentlemen.
No grass skirt, but she'll do.
What did you say, Cadet Manning?
Nothing, sir. I just said I was glad to meet your daughter.
Why, thank you, Cadet, and I'm sorry about the skirt. Had I known you were coming, I'd have made the necessary arrangements.
Oh, look, I didn't mean it. Well, you weren't supposed to hear what I said. Uh-oh, Roger's done it again.
Don't mind Cadet Manning, Miss Arlene. He means well.
Of course I don't mind. After all, when a rescue expedition comes after all these years, we're very grateful to the men in it.
Ah, yes, quite so, quite so. Though I must confess, Captain, I'm a little surprised they waited so long to send you.
Why, sir, a relief expedition was sent out almost immediately. Didn't it ever turn up?
Not to our knowledge, Corbett.
All told, sir, there were 3 others before us.
3 others. Think of that, Arlene. And all lost before they reached here.
Captain Yates, I've been wanting to ask you, why didn't you try to radio for help?
Oh, I only wish we could have, but our communications man was killed when we crash-landed and our electronic equipment damaged beyond repair.
From the looks of that wreck, it's a miracle any of you survived.
Oh, purely a matter of luck, Captain. Tell me, have you been able to maintain audio contact with the advanced base?
No. Since that Nova explosion occurred in space, we've been cut off completely.
You mean communication is impossible for the time being?
Well, there's been a radiation barrier, but as soon as we make repairs, we'll try to raise the base again.
Your audio transmitter was damaged?
By that tidal wave. Our ship suffered some minor damage, too.
Ah, it's a terrible thing, those tidal waves. Terrible. One of Delport's most unpleasant characteristics.
Captain Yates, you may be able to help us.
Anything I can, Corbett, of course, certainly.
Well, were there any transmitter parts left in the wreck of your ship? If I could salvage what I need instead of having to rebuild...
You're welcome to anything you can find, Cadet. Why not investigate the wreck on the way back to your own ship?
Well, thanks, Captain. We'll do that.
And then, as soon as you've made the repairs, return here. We'd like to have a little feast and celebration, a small collation.
Sounds great, Captain Yates. As soon as we get the good news through to advanced base.
Back home, they'll be mighty glad to know we found you, sir.
Of course. You don't know how true that is, Cadet. How very true indeed.
Found any good parts in this mess, Tom? Yes, look at this.
What is it?
Looks like a simple check valve to me.
Hey, it's a check valve, all right, but not a simple one.
What do you mean?
See for yourself, sir. This is the new improved type that was put into production last fall.
Are you certain of that?
I'm positive, sir. The very first batch of these was installed on the Sirius.
The ship that made the 4th expedition.
Yes, sir.
Wait a minute, Junior. Are you trying to tell us this wrecked ship is the Sirius?
You're jet happy.
This is Yates' ship.
It can't be, Tom. Yates has old-type valves. These new babies haven't been developed yet.
Yeah, but why should Yates lie to us? He said none of the rescue expeditions ever arrived here.
Just the same.
Well, I still say that we didn't...
Boys, 1 minute.
Sorry, sir.
I still don't see what this is all about, but it's clear that Yates has lied to us.
It certainly is.
Now, he may have some perfectly good reason, but until we find out what that reason is, we've got to proceed on the basis that this expedition, and every one of us personally, is in deadly danger.
We'll return to the exciting adventures of Tom Corbett, Space Cadet, in just a moment, so stand by.
Spacemen, your official Space Cadet goggles are now ready. Send for them right away. Now, these space goggles are the very same as the goggles issued to all Space Cadets at Space Academy. They're made of a special plastic for clear visibility under all space conditions. Now, don't confuse these goggles with ordinary goggles. You know, the kind with a lens over each eye. Space goggles are made of one sweeping curved piece of colored plastic, like a giant bubble that fits right over both eyes. It even fits over eyeglasses, too. Now, this advanced design is now being used by automobile racers, motorcycle riders, and other racing men. Well, now, you join these men with your own space goggles. It's very important, though, that you send for your space goggles right away. Now, Supply Headquarters at Space Academy wants all spacemen to get their space goggles as soon as possible. So follow these official instructions. To get your space goggles, send 25 cents, 1 Kellogg's Pep box top, and your name and address. Repeat, 25 cents, 1 Kellogg's Pep box top, your name and address. Send to Kellogg's, Box 346, Battle Creek, Michigan. Kellogg's, Box 346, Battle Creek, Michigan. Don't wait, spacemen. Send for your space goggles today.
The crew of the Polaris has found foolproof evidence that Captain Yates lied to them regarding the fate of the previous rescue missions to the planet Delport. And now they realize they stand in deadly danger. They would be even more convinced of this grim fact were they able to eavesdrop on a conversation taking place at the nearby village between Captain Yates and his beautiful daughter, Arlene.
Perhaps if we ask them, Father, just ask them to join our colony here and forget about the universe outside.
I tell you, it would be futile, Arlene. Just as it's been futile with most of those other stupid, stubborn solar guardsmen.
But 3 of them are just cadets.
No, they'll follow strong. You know that.
I'm not so sure. The way one of them looked at me, he might be persuaded.
I'm sure of that, my child, given time. But we have no time. They must be prevented from notifying their base that they found us.
Of course, but... Oh, please, no more killing.
Arlene, not that word. You know how I detest the very thought.
You may detest it, but you'd still do it.
Only if I must. But you do appreciate, dear child. There's no turning back.
Are you sure it wouldn't be better to just give up, Father? Admit everything. Show how this strange planet...
Now, don't get panicky. I handled those other rescue expeditions, and I'll handle this one. Hear me, I will.
They'll just keep sending ships, Father, and sooner or later...
Oh, I think not. After 5 lost ships, public opinion will be aroused, Arlene. There'll be much opposition to a 6th futile try. And the authorities will bow to public clamor.
I hope you're right, Father. I know how you feel about this place.
Do you really, my child? When I set eyes on this valley, after 50 years as a spaceman, I knew I'd found paradise at last. That's why we must not let anyone rob us of it, dear child. Not anyone. No one at all.
All right, Father. What about the Polaris transmitter? If they have a chance to repair it...
yes, that must be prevented. The lengths I've gone to protect this place, that might be misunderstood. I might be called a murderer, put on trial, even executed.
Oh, no, I couldn't bear
Then
that.
help me, child, help me.
You know I'll do anything. Provided you promise you'll give the Polaris crew a chance to make their own choice.
Very well. I will. Now, go and divert their attention while I do my work on the Polaris.
How much time will you need?
15 minutes, only 15 minutes. And then I guarantee that no one in all the universe will ever hear from them again.
Father, oh, I'm glad I Roger.
Arlene, what are you doing here?
I cut through the jungle to warn you. I delayed them as long as I could, but they're on their way here.
All right. I've already wired up the rocket mechanism, and I'll be through here in a minute.
What about the communicator?
It's all set. I smashed the power tube completely, my child.
Suppose they have a spare.
They did? That's here in my pocket.
Father, when they discover they can't repair the radio, won't they decide to blast off?
Oh, I've taken care of that. The Polaris isn't going anywhere. If they try to raise ship, they'll be in for a surprise. Such a surprise.
You wouldn't kill them. Oh, you promised.
Look out the port. They're coming. Quick, through the emergency escape hatch. There's not a moment to lose.
How's it coming, Corbett?
All right, sir. These parts fit perfectly. I'll just check the circuit.
And then we talk with civilization again.
You said it, Astro.
Hey, what in the universe?
Oh, what's the trouble?
This power tube is smashed.
Hey, it must have happened in the tidal wave.
No, I checked the tubes when we took damage inventory.
Well, we've got a spare, haven't we?
Yes, sir, in the parts locker.
I'll get it, Tom. Suffering sucker.
Now what?
That spare's gone.
Impossible.
Are you sure, Astro?
Positive.
Well, I don't get it.
How in blazes could you be so stupid? We could jury rig anything except a tube. There's no way to fix that.
No way except... Hey, wait a minute. I've got an idea.
Go ahead. Let's hear it.
All we do, sir, is blast off and get up above atmosphere. Space is a more perfect vacuum than you can find in the best tubes.
Tom, you're right.
Once in space, I'll get out on the hull and rig up a metal cover for the tube, which should give us a perfectly good vacuum tube.
It sounds good. Will it work, Captain
Well, it
Strong?
ought to. Theoretically, there's nothing wrong with it.
Well, then let's try it, sir.
Right. All hands to your stations. Prepare to raise ship in 5 minutes. Energize the cooling pumps.
Pumps in operation, sir.
Feed reactant.
Reactant, feeding at D9 rate, sir.
Switch in takeoff gyros.
Gyros on, sir.
Good. Blast off minus 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1, 0!
Great galaxy, what was that?
Sir, that explosion came from below.
Astro. Come in, Astro.
He doesn't answer, sir.
No wonder. That blast was big enough to blow the power deck and anyone on it into space dust.
I'm all right now, sir. Just shaken up a little.
What happened down here, Astro?
I don't know, sir. I threw the switch for the rocket firing mechanism. There was a blinding flash of light and then the explosion.
And there's only one possible explanation for all this, and that's sabotage.
Captain Yates, sir?
Yates or one of his men. A deliberate attempt to keep us from blasting off.
I can't believe it.
Boys, it's time we called a council of war. We're in desperate straits now, and the odds are against us. They are enormous.
You're so right, gentlemen.
Jumping jets. It's Yates.
Don't move, any of you. These blasters are very efficient. Although I'd be very reluctant to use it, I will if I must. Truly I will.
He's back toward the emergency hatch, Roger.
Okay.
That would be most unwise, Manning. You'd only meet some of my men on the other side. Your ship is surrounded. You have no choice but to surrender.
And what do you plan to do to us, Captain Yates?
Well, that's entirely up to you, sir. To be perfectly frank, though, I'm very pessimistic. Very.
What about, Captain?
Why, that you'll be any more intelligent in your choice than so many of your Solar Guard friends. Stupid fellows, really stupid.
And what is our choice, Yates?
So simple, really simple. You acknowledge me as your leader. You live in this paradise as my faithful followers. And give up all outside ties.
Suppose we refuse.
Then you must suffer the consequences. And I do mean suffer, young man. Indeed I do.
Well, I'll say right now.
Not too hasty. You'll have time to ponder all this.
You must be insane. You can't just set up a separate kingdom and keep out the whole universe.
To date, we've managed quite well, Captain. True, we've had to destroy some ignorant people who couldn't appreciate our kind offer, but... Then the price of peace is always high.
My crew and I were sent here under orders, Yates, and we'll carry them out, or die in the attempt.
As you wish, Captain. You'll find this valley a very pleasant place to die.
We'll We'll return to the exciting adventures of Tom Corbett, Space Cadet, in just a moment, so stand by.
Spaceman, send for your official Space Cadet goggles right away. These goggles, part of every Space Cadet's equipment, are so useful, well, you want to carry them and wear them every day. You know, Astro says space goggles, well, they're just about the most important things a spaceman can have. Right, Astro?
You bet, Spaceman. When I'm working down on the power deck of the Polaris, there's a lot of radiation glare around. Wearing space goggles protects my eyes. And you know, these aren't regular goggles. They're advanced design goggles for use out in space. One sweeping, curved piece of clear, colored plastic. Like the observation blister in a jet boat, or a giant bubble that fits right over both eyes. So send for your space goggles right away. Space Academy Supply Headquarters has them all ready and waiting for you. And if you're smart, you'll send for an extra pair, too, so you'll have them for emergencies.
Good idea, Astro. And now, Spaceman, write this down. Here's how to get your official Space Cadet goggles. Send 25 cents, 1 Kellogg's Pep box top, and your name and address. I'll repeat that. 25 cents, 1 Kellogg's Pep box top, your name and address. Send to Kellogg's, Box 346, Battle Creek, Michigan. Kellogg's, Box 346, Battle Creek, Michigan. Hop to it, Spaceman. Send for your space goggles today.
The crew of the Polaris has been imprisoned in a cave cut into a hillside near Yates Village. Working in complete darkness, the cadets have examined it carefully, going over it inch by inch with their fingertips. But they have found nothing to give them any hope of escape. Straining their eyes in the pitch-black gloom, they wait and wonder what is to happen next.
Why didn't Yates kill us? Why should he bring us here?
I overheard him tell his men something, Captain. Seems he promised his daughter to give us every chance to change our minds.
How long does that mean? Until we rot? Unless we can find a way out.
Fat chance of that. They've got a magnetite door and an energy lock on the mouth of this cave, plus a man on guard outside.
If we only had a little light.
Quiet, everyone. Listen.
What in the universe is that?
The sound's coming from beyond the left wall, sir.
I can hear it a lot plainer now with my ear against the wall. Viola, cosmic... Somebody's digging in there.
Captain Strong, could it be another prisoner?
It's hard to say, Manning. This hill is riddled with limestone caves. I noticed that when they brought us here.
Then it could be another prisoner.
Let's start digging toward him from this side.
With what?
With anything, Manning, including your hands. Get busy.
Almost ready to break through, sir.
All right, Tom. You keep on digging. We'll stand on either side and be ready for anything.
There goes the last of it.
Watch it now.
Hello?
We've made contact.
Who's there? Who's on the other side?
Prisoners. Who are you?
Prisoner 2.
Is that hole large enough for him to come through?
I think so, sir.
Give me your hand, and I can make it all right.
Here. Hold on. That's fine. Your shoulders are through. Easy now.
Thanks. Oh, what it means to hear another voice.
Who are you, sir? I'm Captain Strong of the Solar Guard.
Strong? You too, eh? I'm Larkin, captain of the Sirius.
So this is what happened to you, sir. We found the wreckage of your ship.
Yates and his men wrecked it after we landed. They killed most of my crew, but Yates thought he could win me over to join his colony and imprisoned me here. I couldn't have stood another day alone in there.
Captain Larkin, how often do the guards bring food?
Once a day.
How many of them?
Just one man. But he's always armed with a blaster, and he makes me back away from him to the end of the cave. Why?
Would you be willing to take a risk, sir? Along with us, I mean.
Would I? Son to a man who's been buried alive for as long as I have, anything's worth a try.
All right, Larkin. Show yourself.
Yates, what are you...
I have your dinner. I brought it personally.
Well, what do I owe the honor?
You know the rules, Larkin. Move back. Back into the light where I can see you.
All right.
That's it. Move well back. Now, Larkin, I'm sorry it's not your dinner I'm bringing you, but your death.
Grab him! Got him, sir!
Where did you come from?
Let me go!
Let me go. This is impossible.
Okay, I've got his artillery. Pin his arms and we've got it.
Don't worry, he can't make a move.
You cry out, Yates, and I'll blast you into space dust. Is that perfectly clear?
You have me. Yes, alas, you do.
Corbett, that was a mighty clever idea of yours for all of us to gather here in my cell.
It certainly was. And to have the boss wander in instead of the mess sergeant was really a break for us.
Corbett has all the luck. Oh, I don't know, Roger. This turns out pretty well for you, too.
How do you figure, Junior?
Why, Roger, you were so unhappy at the idea of leaving Arlene, remember?
Sure, but I don't see
Tom's right, Roger. Now she and her father will both be going back to Earth with us. And you can visit them both every day in jail.
Don't miss the next action-packed adventure with Tom Corbett and the Space Cadets on Tuesday, when Tom and Roger Manning escort the first interplanetary circus on a trip to Venus and find that deadly peril lurks beneath the big top tent of the greatest show in the universe. Tune in, same time, same station on Tuesday for the next thrilling interplanetary adventure with Tom Corbett, Space Cadet.
Brought to you by Kellogg's Pep, the build-up wheat cereal.
Tom Corbett, Space Cadet, starring Frankie Thomas, can also be seen on television and appears in the comic sections of many of America's leading newspapers. Look for it daily and in weekend editions. Featured in today's cast were Jan Merlin, Al Markham, Edward Bryce, Ian Martin, and Susan Douglas. Today's program was written by Gilbert Braun, directed by Drex Hines. Jackson Begg speaking.
Kellogg's Raisin Bran has a secret. Kellogg's Raisin Bran has a secret. And what a secret! In Kellogg's Raisin Bran, the tasty raisins are dipped in honeycomb. That means plumper, more tender raisins, along with delicious golden crisp bran flakes. Both fruit and cereal, all in one box. And no other raisin brand but Kellogg's gives you the tender goodness of raisins dipped in honeycomb. That's Kellogg's secret. So for your breakfast, make sure you get Kellogg's, because Kellogg's Raisin Bran has a secret.
I find myself reminded of an episode of Star Trek Deep Space Nine named Paradise. It's Season 2, Episode 15, if you're curious. In it, Commander Sisko and Chief O'Brien find themselves stranded on a world where an energy field prevents technology from working, and discover a colony made up of the survivors of a ship that had crashed 10 years earlier. Things begin to show a sinister side when the colony leader is constantly trying to coerce them to stop attempting to get help and assimilate in the colony. Especially since one of the colonists is deathly ill and Sisko and O'Brien are her only hope for survival. In the end, it's revealed that the energy field is secretly artificial, and the leader had deliberately crashed them on a different planet than the one they were supposed to colonize. Also, she could cut them off from the rest of the galaxy and force them to live according to her anti-technology beliefs, even if it killed them. It's considered to be a very good episode by many DS9 fans. In regards to Marooned with Death, I quite like this episode. The first half is a nice man versus nature survival story, and the second half introduces an interesting villain. The only real criticism I have for it is the second part feels a little rushed. I think it was entirely worthy of 2 parts on its own. The first half was as well, for that matter. But what adventures will Tom and his friends face after this? Find out next week in Adventures in... Can I just redo that last bit? The first...
Okay, third try. If you don't make it this time, I'm totally going to use what you've already recorded.
But what adventures will Tom and his friends face after this? Find out next week on Adventures in Adventure. Same Phantom Star time, same Phantom Star channel. Station. Website. website? Or
Yeah,
just whatever.
Good night. We're totally using the gag reel on this.
Hey, little sister, what have they done? Hey, little sister, you had better run. Hey, little sister, what you doing here? They're gonna play the Reigns of Castamere. Rob Stark will bite the big one. It's a nice day to lose your head. It's a nice day for a red wedding. It's a nice day to lose your head. Most of the Starks are gonna die today. Thanks to the Boltons, also to the Franks. Rob Stark will bite the big one. Oh yeah, they're gonna play the Reigns of Castamere. Rob Stark will bite the big one. It's a nice day to lose your hand. It's a nice day for a red wedding. It's a nice day to lose your head. Pick it up. Ballamore Goulis. Hey, little sister, what have they done? Hey, little sister, you had better run. Catelyn and Grey went done for. Wendell and Small John done for. Walder Frey's fool is done for. It's a nice day to lose your head. Come on, it's a nice day for a red wedding. It's a nice day to lose your head. There is nothing fair in this world. There is nothing safe in this world. And there's nothing sure in this world. And there's nothing pure in this world. Win the game or die in this world. Lose your head. Come on, it's a nice day for a red wedding. Wow, it's a nice day to lose your head. It's a nice day to lose your head. It's a nice day to lose your head.
Thank you for calling Empire Services. This is Jen. How can I help you today?
Yeah. Look, Jen, you're my Dark Forces service provider, and I have a complaint. I was just trying to force choke one of my minions, and he just stood there looking at me. nothing happened. He just looked at me like I was an idiot.
Okay. Well, sir, can we get your name and your account number?
Yes, it's Keeble, Lord of the Aegilian Cluster, Dominar of the 7 fleets of Rigel, and Master of all I survey.
Very good, sir. Okay, and your account number?
THX 1138.
And your password?
Kill the bunnies.
I see you have the bundle, which includes telephone, internet, and Dark Force powers. Now, you seem to be having a problem with your Dark Force powers today?
Yes. This is the 3rd time this has happened. I reach out to Force Choke a minion, and suddenly the bandwidth just disappears. What's going on here?
Well, Lord Keeble, I see that you are behind on your bill.
Look, I can pay you that next week.
Okay, fine. In the meantime, what I'm seeing here is that your equipment is not suited for streaming that many midichlorians at once. We need you to go ahead and purchase the upgraded package that comes with the modem.
Modem?
Yes, it mounts on your chest, it has several lights on it, and when you want to use your Dark Force powers, it makes a really cool noise.
Look, Jen, I don't need all that. All I really need is for my Dark Force powers to work when I need them.
We here at Empire Services know that you do have a choice in Dark Force service providers. We want to be the very best company that we can be. And to that end, we do offer the upgraded package, which includes the Internet Cyber Modem, the TIE Fighter TIE TAC, and a lifetime supply of Soylent Green.
All right. You know what? I'm tired of this. You promise everything, and every time I need your services, they're not there. I give up. You know what? Cancel my account. I'm going with a different company. Thank you. Good day.
Well, sir, if you...
I said good day. Yeah, I'll show them here. Down the number. Thank you for calling Halliburton. How can we help you? Yeah, I'd like to open an account.
Oh, what a friend we have in Cthulhu. He cares about us all equally. If you see him, you go blind. If you don't, you lose your mind and rip your eyes out so you cannot see.
I was feeling down and dejected, and every day felt more like a curse. Then I thought about the horror that sleeps beneath the waters, and remembered it could get much worse. Oh, what a friend we have in Cthulhu. He cares about us all equally. If you see him, you go blind. If you don't, you lose your mind and rip your eyes out so you cannot see.
So just how big a friend is Cthulhu? He's unlike any friend you've ever known. Though he's bigger than a house, he's as quiet as a mouse. Then he comes to rip the flesh right from your bones.
Oh, what a friend we have in Cthulhu. He cares about us all equally. If you see him, you go blind. If you don't, you lose your mind and rip your eyes out so you cannot see.
Now deep within his house at Relaya, dead Cthulhu dreams while waiting for the hour when he rises from the brine and returns to crush your spine as he shambles forth to show the world his power.
Now, people, everybody testify before Cthulhu.
I just broke up with my cheating slimeball husband, and I'm waiting for Cthulhu to come back and fit him in his lousy, no good.
Well, actually, I didn't used to be able to walk, but now I can,
He'll fix all of your problems in a heartbeat, even if your life's a total mess. Both your mortal
Castlevania on the Phantom Star with your host, Eve St. George.
The scattered pulp of human limbs abstracted from their accustomed bodies, bones exposed in splinters, poking whitely through torn skin, twisted torsos, melted faces, and the vomitous, vaguely pink spatter of combined bodily fluids. I bet you think yours Ghoulie is singing the gory glory of some outrageously graphic new horror film. But this is no fictional frenzy of flesh shredding. No, these are but a few of the grisly evidences witnessed by first responders at the scene of fatal collisions on your earthly roads. These deadly crashes account for more than 2% of global human fatalities. You see, while it has fine-tuned a masterfully resilient pile of organic matter for the human body, we can't deny that evolution is a slow agent. It hasn't had time yet to adapt to the astounding prevalence of human bodies moving at such great speed, and then coming to such, sudden stops. As you may know if you paid 5 seconds worth of attention to the most basic principles of physics, when your automobile comes to an unexpected halt, your body continues moving, until it makes contact with some other object like the steering wheel or the windshield, or if you're not a friggin' moron, your seatbelt. And you might also be aware that your body isn't solid. It's a collection of squishy structures and soft, wet stuff, caged in bone and held together by membranes. When the cage of bone and the outermost membrane stop moving, all those squishy things inside, your internal organs, are still moving until they make contact with a barrier. That's why an accident that doesn't look potentially fatal can be deceptive, causing severe concussions, internal bleeding, and extensive damage to vital organs. Of course, if you're one of those seatbelt deniers, you have a much higher chance of winning the painful death jackpot by being ejected from the car to make a second hard contact, this time with the pavement. And I fear you will find it a most unforgiving partner. Not to mention you might encounter other heavy vehicles with your squishy little self already dazed and unprotected. But sadly for us connoisseurs of carnage, many of these calamitous collisions are entirely preventable. Distracted driving, driving while under the influence of drugs or alcohol, drivers looking away from the road, and drowsy driving contribute to a large percentage of accidents. People could smarten up, pay attention behind the wheel. Instead, they choose to send text messages, apply makeup, operate under the influence, and otherwise increase their chances for painful injuries and or gruesome death. Of course, as they say, no brain, no pain. Perhaps half of them have so few surviving neurons that they walk away barely aware of the collision that just occurred involving their vehicle. Just like these 2 idiots on the way to New York in tonight's episode of The Sealed Book. Broadway, here I come.
The Sealed Book. Once again, the keeper of the book has opened the ponderous door to the secret vault. wherein is kept the great sealed book, in which is recorded all the secrets and mysteries of mankind through the ages. Here are tales of every kind, tales of murder, of madness, of dark deeds, strange and terrible beyond all belief. Keeper of the book, I would know what tale we tell this time. Open the great book and let us read. Slowly, the great book opened. One by one, the keeper of the book turns the pages and stops. Ah, the strange story of two people whose ambition led them to murder and to an amazing destiny. A tale titled Broadway, Here I Come. Here is the tale, Broadway, Here I Come, as it is written in the pages of the sealed book. The story begins in a tawdry cabaret in a little California town. At a small table is George Williams, a respected member of the community. Fat and bald, George sits patiently mopping the sweat from his brow and watching his young, vivacious wife, Kitty, dance with Eddie Davis, a roomer in the Williams home. As the scene opens, the dance comes to an end.
Pretty smooth, Kitty. Pretty smooth.
You ain't so bad yourself, Eddie. I've danced with worse.
Who, your husband? Look at him sitting alone at the table here. Hiya, Georgie. You look kind of hot.
Please, Kitty, can't we go home?
Home? It ain't even midnight yet.
We practically just got here.
But, Kitty, you know what Dr. Smith said. With my bad heart, I need plenty of sleep.
Oh, George, don't be a killjoy.
But, Kitty,
Eddie, he's playing Blues in the Night.
Yeah, baby, yeah, that's our song. Come on, we're just getting warmed up.
We'll go home after this number, George. Order yourself another soda.
But I don't want another All right.
Remember the first time we danced to this, beautiful?
Oh, yeah.
And the minute I spotted you, I knew you were the doll for me. Kitty, why don't you stop stalling me off? When are you going to give George the air?
You see anything better than George around?
Yeah, baby, me.
You? You haven't got a cent to your name.
Maybe not, Kitty, but I'll get it.
Don't make me laugh. Where? Here in Fairhope, population 3,462?
I don't mean in Fairhope, baby. I'm going places.
Yeah? Where?
New York, Broadway. That's where I'm headed for. I got plans, baby, big plans.
Such as?
Listen, Kitty, you've seen all the cups I want for dancing, and you know I'm good, don't you? Well, with a flashy partner and a fast routine, I'd be a natural for Broadway. And if you're smart, baby, you'll hook up with me.
I've got it pretty soft here, Eddie.
Right, with George? Look, if you're figuring on his weak heart, you better forget about it. He's liable to live another 20 years, and then where you going to be, huh? Old and fat.
Yeah, but I'll have George's money to console me.
Well, all right, then. You can stay with that fat slob. I'll look around someplace else for a partner.
George, why aren't you dressed? It's after 8.
Why, Kitty, I called on Dr. Smith today. He told me that any exertion or excitement might be fatal. So I promised him I wouldn't go out at night anymore.
And what am I supposed to do? Sit around and twiddle my thumbs? I'm young. I want to live.
But, honey, you know Here comes Eddie downstairs. Maybe he'll go. Eddie? Eddie, can I see you for a minute?
I don't want you asking him to take me.
Oh, sure, George, sure. Sure, let me.
Eddie, the doc thinks I ought to take it easy, so I can't take Kitty out tonight.
Oh, no, that's tough, George.
Look, Eddie, would you mind taking Kitty out dancing for me tonight? She's awfully anxious to go.
Gosh, George, there's nothing in the world I'd rather do for you. But, I got a date tonight. And, this dame is really something special.
Oh. Well, thanks anyway.
Oh, it's all right, George. It's all right. Sorry I couldn't oblige. Good night.
Good night, Eddie. Have a good time.
Did you have to throw me at his head that way? Make me look like a fool?
Oh, Kitty, don't be angry with me.
I'll show that, Eddie. He can't treat me like this. I'll show him. Eddie,
Yeah?
I want to talk to you.
All right. Hi, Kitty. How's George?
Oh, 2 weeks he's been in bed and the doc says he ain't no better. He's got to stay quiet. But I don't. I've been staying home with him every night for those 2 weeks and I'm sick of it. Look, Eddie, how about taking me dancing tonight, huh?
Oh, gee, Kitty, there's nothing I'd rather do, but like I said, I got a date tonight.
You've been having a lot of dates lately, haven't you?
Oh, sure, but a guy like me has to get around when he's looking for a dancing partner.
So you're still figuring on going to New York, huh?
Yes, sirree, baby. I ain't gonna be around this whistle stop much longer. It's Broadway, here I come. And in a couple of years, when I'm in the big time, you can remember me standing here telling you that.
Oh, Eddie, it ain't that I don't want to go to New York with you, only this is a big step you're asking me to take.
Listen, baby, you know I'm nuts about you. You know I'd never do anything to hurt you. You know that, don't you? Come here, baby.
Oh, Eddie.
Now what do you say, baby? Are you going with me? This is your last chance.
All right, Eddie, I'll go with you.
Good, honey. Honey, I promise you'll never regret it. We can't miss. We're leaving this two-bit burg tonight, forever.
Tonight?
Yeah. Now, you go pack your things, Kitty, while I go downtown. Get a few things to be taken care of. Back in a couple of hours. Well, here I am, baby. All set.
Eddie, where were you so long? I've been packed and ready for hours.
Yeah, I've been trying to collect some of that dough the cheap chiselers in this burg owe me. No dice. All I was able to get was $50. So that kind of puts it up to you, baby.
What do you mean by that?
Well, if we ain't got any dough of our own, we'll have to take George's. Where's he keep it?
But, Eddie, that's stealing.
Oh, don't be a sap, will you? In California, half of what a guy has belongs to his wife, don't it? Okay, we'll just take your half, that's all.
Eddie, you sure we won't get in trouble?
Of course we won't. It's your dough, ain't it? Come on, where's George keep it?
He's got a secret wall safe behind this radio. If you push the radio aside, you can see it.
Oh, so that's where he's been keeping his little nest egg, huh?
Yeah.
Let's just take a look at it. Hey. Well, what do you know?
Eddie, how are you going to open it? I don't know the combination.
Baby, this moth-eating safe ain't no problem. Just give me an hour to work on, I'll have it open for you.
And now to continue the story, as it is written in the sealed book. After Eddie had tried for an hour to open the safe, where Kitty said George kept all his money, he was obliged to use force. Kitty found him a heavy hammer, and he went to work with that.
Eddie, you're going to wake George if you don't cut it out.
Don't you worry, baby. Just a couple of more, and this thing will fall apart. That did it.
Look, Eddie. There's a roll of bills in there.
Yeah, baby, yeah. Just a minute, we'll find out how much your split of it comes to.
Yeah.
Let's see. Hey, look, there's a piece of paper wrapped around the roll with figures on it.
Yeah?
It says $14,600.
14,000?
Yes, sir, baby, and half of that's yours. 7 G's. Think of what that dough made us when we hit the Great White Wave.
Kitty,
George.
did I hear some pounding down here? It sounded as though you broke into my safe. What are you doing with my money?
Now, take it easy, George. We're only taking Kitty's share.
You broke into my safe, took my money. I'll call the police. You can't. Oh!
Eddie's having a heart attack.
Oh, Kitty, my medicine. It's on top of the radio. Get it.
All right, George, just take it easy. You'll be all right as soon as you get some of your medicine.
You mean that stuff will fix him up?
Yeah, it always does.
Kitty, hurry.
All right, George. Wait till I pour a little into this glass.
I got other ideas.
Eddie, you knocked the bottle out of my hand.
Yeah, I know. I think George would be a lot better off without his medicine.
You want me to die so you can take my money?
You're catching on quick, Georgie, but a little too late.
It's blood money. Cursed. You'll find you won't go far with it.
Shut up, you little fool. You want to wake up the neighborhood?
Is he dead?
Yeah, that makes everything perfect. As his widow, the dough is all yours now.
Eddie, the cops. What'll happen when they find him?
Not a thing. It wasn't murder, was it? George just died of a heart attack as he was trying to take some of his medicine, that's all.
Yeah, that's what happened.
Yeah. Oh, baby, 14 G's. That'll take us a long way.
Yeah. Well, I'll take care of it, Eddie. After all, it's my dough now that George is dead.
So you're going to take care of it. May as well learn now that I'm giving the orders, not you. You understand?
Yeah. Yeah, Eddie, sure.
Yeah, that's better. Okay, baby, let's get rolling. Come on. A lot of traveling to do before we hit Broadway.
How far have we come already, Eddie?
About 400 miles, I guess. We're making good time.
Gosh, Eddie, you've been driving all night. You look sleepy. Don't you think you ought to stop and rest a while?
It's a sense of stop in the middle of the desert. We'll rest up when we're across it.
Gosh, there isn't another car on the road.
There's a back road, baby. Little Eddie is playing it safe, see?
You mean the cops might be looking for us?
It could be. They don't worry me. They ain't got a thing on us.
They're gonna think it's awful queer when they find George dead and us gone.
Stop your worrying, I tell you. Once we get to New York, they'll never find us.
Gee, New York, Broadway. I can hardly wait. Tell me about it, Eddie, huh?
It's a great town, Kitty. I never saw anything like it.
Yeah.
Fancy hotels, theaters, nightclubs. Something happening all the time.
Remember that movie we saw at the Bijou? Showing Broadway all lit up at night? Just think soon we'll be there ourselves. Oh, I gotta get some new clothes. Eddie, wake up, wake up! Eddie. Eddie, are you all right? Eddie.
What happened?
He fell asleep at the wheel. Oh, he might have been killed.
Oh, gosh. Car's a complete wreck.
Yeah. Well, mastermind, what now? We're stuck in the desert, hundreds of miles from anywhere. There's not a car in sight. Oh, you and your back roads. Well, we could...
Kitty, look over there.
Where? I don't see anything.
Look where I'm pointing, will you?
Huh?
Did you see there's a water tower about a mile away?
Oh. Yeah, I see it now.
Well, that water tower means there's a railroad over there.
So what?
So what? That means the train stopped there. We can rest in the shade of the water tower until a train comes along and stops for water. And we can get on and keep going. Come on.
Oh, gosh, Eddie. Oh, the sun sure is hot. I'm getting dizzy.
Just keep walking, will you?
Yeah.
Soon be in the shade of the water tower. Oh, what's so funny?
Oh, Eddie, look at us. You've got $14,000 in your pocket. We're tramping across the desert like a couple of bums.
Very funny.
Eddie, come to think of it. Remember what George said before he died? He said it was blood money and we wouldn't go far with it.
Oh, what's the matter with you? Is the sun beginning to get... Kitty, you hear that? It's a train.
Yeah. Eddie, look, there it is.
Yeah, it's coming plenty fast.
What if it doesn't stop at the water tower?
Look, it's going east, ain't it? After that long run across the desert, it's bound to stop here for water.
Well, it's a freight train.
Well, what'd you expect, the Broadway Limited?
Oh, but Eddie, how are we going to ride on that?
Kitty, it's slowing down. Wait along the tracks here.
Yeah, but Eddie, the water tower's a ways up the track.
So what? That's where the engine will stop. Well, we're looking for an old boxcar, and this is the place to wait for it.
Yeah, I never rode the freights before.
It ain't exactly like a Pullman, but it'll get us across the desert, and that's what counts. Yeah, see? It's coming to a stop. Keep your eyes peeled for an open boxcar.
Yeah. Eddie, there's one.
Yeah. It's going to stop right in front of us. What'd I tell you? Come on. I'll help you out.
Okay, Eddie.
Come on now.
Yeah.
And just a second. Okay, we're all set. About 10 minutes, this baby's going to start rolling. Then it'll be Broadway. Here we come.
And now to continue the story as it is written in the sealed book. As the freight train which Eddie and Kitty have boarded speeds through the desert, the two partners in crime and tawdry ambition sleep. Presently Kitty wakes and looks out the open door. Then anxiously she shakes Eddie awake.
Eddie.
Huh? What?
Didn't you say this freight was going east?
You said we were headed for Broadway. That's east, ain't it?
But this train is headed west.
West, you're crazy.
Look at the sun. We're heading straight toward the sunset.
What? Hey, you're right.
Yeah, but when we got on this freight, you said it was going east.
And it was, I tell you.
Then why is it going the other way now?
Look, stop asking me dumb questions, will you? How should I know? I guess after the freight left the water tower, it ran east for a few miles, then made a long swing around, started back with the coast. That's what must have happened.
But why should it start back for the coast?
Look, I ain't the conductor, am I? Now stop worrying, will you?
Eddie, we'll end up in some freight yard almost where we started from.
So what? The minute this baby hits a town, you and me are getting off. Then we're gonna take a train east, a real train. We got enough dough to travel in style, baby.
He said it was blood money. That we wouldn't go far with it.
Lay off that kind of talk, will you? This dough is taking us to Broadway and right up to the top of the heap, do you hear me?
Yeah, sure, Eddie.
That's better. All we gotta do is sit tight till the freight stops, then grab a passenger train going east.
All right, Eddie. Gee, it's getting kind of cold, isn't it?
Yeah. It always gets cold in the desert when the sun goes down. This baby ought to be stopping sometime during the night. Best thing to do until then is try to get some sleep.
Eddie. Eddie, wake up.
What?
Wake up, Eddie. We've stopped.
We stopped?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we have. Where are we?
I don't know. I just woke up myself.
Still dark outside.
You think we're still in the desert?
I'll soon find out when I open this door. Yeah. Still night, all right. Pretty dark out. Say, what do you know?
What, Eddie?
This boxcar's on a siding all by itself. Oh, we were sleeping. They must have unhooked it, pushed it on his siding.
You mean the rest of the train is gone?
Yeah. Well, at least he didn't leave us on the desert. Parked on a siding at some small whistle stop. I can see trees and a couple of buildings.
Eddie, that means in the morning we can get a train out of here and start east.
Yeah, sure does, baby. Come on. Let's hop off this car.
Yeah.
It's pretty late, but maybe there's some place in that two-bed burg we can get a cup of coffee, huh?
Funny we haven't eaten for a long time, but I don't feel hungry.
I ain't so hungry myself. But we will be when they put some food down in front of us. Here, baby, I'll help you down.
All right, Eddie.
Yeah. Come on, baby, this way. Well, come on, what do you stand there for?
Eddie, look. That building over there.
Ah, what about it?
It's George's lumber mill.
George's lumber mill?
Eddie, don't you recognize it? Eddie, we're back in Fairhope.
Fairhope? Yeah. You're right.
You remember what George said before he died? He said it was blood money. We'd never go far with
Shut
it.
up.
Well, he was right. He was right. Here we are back in Fairhope. Oh, right back where we started from. Right back where we started from.
I told you to shut up! Maybe that'll bring you to your senses. Look, it's just a coincidence that we landed back in Fairhope, that's all.
Eddie, what are we going to do?
That's that simple. We're going back to the house and change our clothes. And we'll be on our way again.
Back to the house? Oh, no.
What are you scared of, baby? You're stiff laying on the floor in the living room? George can't hurt you now. Come on.
Eddie, I don't want to go back there.
Don't be like that. We can't travel in these clothes. Change at the house in 10 minutes, then hitch a ride over to Rockford and catch a morning express east. Now, come on. Come on, will you? It'll be dawn in another hour.
Eddie, look. There's a wreath on the door. Funeral wreath.
Yeah, means they must have found George.
Oh, Eddie, let's not go in.
Don't be a sap. There's nothing to be afraid of. Where's my key? Yeah, here it is.
Eddie, I'm scared.
Yeah, you make me sick. Hey, come on in. Come on in. Nothing's gonna hurt you, I tell you. Put on a light. I never saw such a dame.
Eddie, it smells like flowers in here.
Yeah. They tell me someone died here recently.
Kitty? Kitty, is that you?
No, it can't be. You're dead.
Don't be a dope, Kitty. You'd be talking to us if he was dead. So, that heart attack did knock you off, huh, George?
I shouldn't talk to you, Eddie, after what you did.
Oh, now, come on. It was an accident, my breaking your bottle of medicine, George.
In fact, I shouldn't speak to either of you. After the way you murdered me.
After we what?
Eddie, the funeral wreath.
A fine thing. My own wife and my best friend murdering me.
The Reaver. And he's dead.
No, it can't be.
Oh, but I am dead. Maybe you'd like to see me laid out in my coffin. My body's in the living room. I have a beautiful coffin.
Eddie is dead.
No. They don't believe it.
If you'll come this way, I'll show you. They really fixed me up fine. I look 20 years younger. Now wait till I open the door. Here we are. I'm afraid you won't be able to see me too well. These 3 candles don't give much light.
Eddie, there's 3 coffins in this room.
Yeah, 3 coffins.
Oh, didn't you know?
No, what?
Those other 2 coffins are yours. When your car overturned yesterday out in the desert, you 2 were killed.
And that is the tale of 2 people and an ambition which would not stop at murder, and the strange fate to which that ambition brought them, as the facts are written here in the sealed book. Mysterious are the workings of fate in the lives of mere mortals. And now, keeper of the book, before you close the great volume, show us the tale we tell next time. This one, yes, an amazing tale of a woman who came from the heart of mysterious Egypt and brought death to those who loved her. A woman whose soul was the soul of a cat. A tale titled The Queen of the Cats. Be sure to be with us again next time, when the sound of the great gong heralds another strange and mystifying tale from The Sealed Book. The Sealed Book, written by Bob Arthur and David Cogan, is produced and directed by Jock McGregor.
And that, boils and ghouls, is how you tie up loose ends into a very, very pretty noose. But that's all the time we have to hang around here at Radio Free Transylvania. It's time to take a little trip to Twin Peaks.
Say? Radio Free Transylvania this week featured two of the least sympathetic characters in the entire history of recorded entertainment. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes, they're pretty bad.
I'm looking forward to the cat episode next week. That should be a lot of fun.
I'm watching the cat episode right now.
Yes, indeed. We have two very aggressive little friends here. I'm gonna try and get you guys a picture of them by using camera number 2. Hi guys, say hello. That would be Taz on the left and Nori on the right. And boy, aren't they just looking for trouble. We'll have to make sure they're here for next week's episode of Radio Free Transylvania.
I know. They're being featured.
So, you guys may have noticed that the show's running a little fast this week. Normally, for you guys who are new, we have for almost the last 10 years done an audio program every Saturday night. We do 3 solid hours. And we do a lot more music and things like that. We're still getting this video format thing down, so bear with us. Eventually, we'll get the show back up to the point where we're running literally from 9 until midnight. We actually stopped the feed at Phantom Star TV for 3 hours from 9 to midnight on Saturday, specifically so you don't have to choose between watching the TV and watching us. You don't have a choice.
Well, sure they do. They could surf the internet, look things up on Google, play music videos on YouTube, find out what's on Netflix.
Oi, whose side are you on here?
Truth. I am always on the side of the truth. Whether
Yes.
pleasant or not.
Well, and of course you still have the microphone placement, so I'm definitely the less audible voice, let's say, just at the moment. But we're going to play another couple of pieces of music. Jason has a movie review for you based on something we're playing on the TV show next week. But I wanted to mention a couple or 3 things. One, if you have been watching the westerns that we run on Wednesdays at thephantomstar.net, you may or may not have noticed that in the last week we've added episodes of Chuck Connors and the Rifleman to that. We have added a number of episodes of the old In Search Of series, which is a personal favorite of mine and is so much fun to watch, partly because it actually still stands up today.
But that's not a western.
No, that's actually on Mondays and Tuesdays. We run those during Sci-Fi Monday and Horror Tuesday. But the other thing is, there are some things that they did, like the episode of In Search Of the Coming Ice Age, which is totally contrary to most modern scientific opinion 30 years later. So there's some interesting discrepancies in those that are kind of neat to watch and catch up on. I wanted to point out that on Monday at some point during the day we are running, I've completely lost track of what we were going to run on Monday. Tuesday, though, we're running the 1973 production of House of Wax, starring John Carradine. And I haven't scheduled Thursday, Friday, or Saturday yet, but that'll be up tomorrow. But there's a lot of fun stuff to watch, including something Jason's going to talk to you about right after we visit, the Wild Wild West.
School for Girls may well be one of the greatest titles of all time. As a TV movie from 1973, it needed a strong title because at the time it wouldn't be unusual for the TV Guide listing or a brief TV spot to be the only advertising it would get, so the title had to hook you on its own. The only problem is that it spoils what otherwise would be considered a pretty effective plot twist. It stars Pamela Franklin of Legend of Hell House in the prime of Miss Jean Brodie as a young woman who enrolls at her sister's college under an alias in order to investigate her death and discovers more than she bargained for. Also starring Kate Jackson of Charlie Angels fame and an early appearance by Cheryl Ladd, also of Charlie's Angels. It sets an effective mood, and I enjoyed the performances, not only of the leads, but also of Lloyd Boxner and Roy Thinnis as two of the professors. The dynamic between Franklin and Jackson as they investigate is something I really find worth mentioning. I liked it quite a lot. Satan's School for Girls is considered one of the most well-remembered TV movies of the area, and I think for good reason. If you want to see why, check it out this Tuesday on the Phantom Star as part of our Tuesday horror show.
Trekking across the universe. On the Starship Enterprise under Captain Kirk. Star trekking across the universe. Slowly going forward 'cause we can't find reverse. Lieutenant, report. There's Klingons on the starboard bow, starboard bow, starboard bow. There's Klingons on the starboard bow, Jim.
Life, Jim, but not as we know it, not as we know it, not as we know it. It's life, Jim, but not as we know it, not as we know it, Captain.
There's Klingons on the starboard bow, starboard bow, starboard bow. There's Klingons on the starboard bow, Jim. Star trekking across the universe. On the Starship Enterprise under Captain Kirk. Star trekking across the universe. Slowly going forward, still can't find reverse.
It's worse than that, he's dead, Jim. Dead, Jim. Dead, Jim. It's worse than that, he's dead, Jim. Dead, Jim. Dead.
It's life, Jim, but not as we know it, not as we know it, not as we know it. It's life, Jim, but not as we know it, not as we know it, Captain.
There's Klingons on the starboard bow, starboard bow, starboard bow. There's Klingons on the starboard bow, Jim.
Starship Captain James T. Kirk.
Ah, we come in peace, shoot to kill, shoot to kill, shoot to kill. We come in peace, shoot to kill, men.
It's worse than that, he's dead, Jim. Dead, Jim. Dead, Jim. It's worse than that, he's dead, Jim. Dead, Jim. Dead.
Well, it's life, Jim, but not as we know it, not as we know it, not as we know it. It's life, Jim, but not as we know it, not as we know it, Captain.
There's Klingons on the starboard bow, starboard bow, starboard bow. There's Klingons on the starboard bow. Scrape them off, Jim.
Star trekking across the universe.
On the Starship Enterprise under Captain Kirk.
Star trekking across the universe.
Slowly going forward and things are getting worse.
Engine room. It's just that.
You cannot change the laws of physics. Laws of physics. Laws of physics. Cannot change the laws of physics. Laws of physics, Jim.
Ah, we come in peace, shoot to kill, shoot to kill, shoot to kill. We come in peace, shoot to kill. Scotty, beam me up.
It's worse than that, he's dead, Jim. Dead, Jim. Dead, Jim. It's worse than that, he's dead, Jim. Dead, Jim. Dead.
Well, it's life, Jim, but not as we know it, not as we know it, not as we know it. It's life, Jim, but not as we know it, not as we know it, Captain.
There's Klingons on the starboard bow, starboard bow, starboard bow. There's Klingons on the starboard bow, starboard bow.
You cannot change the script, Jim. I'll see you, Jimmy.
It's worse than that, it's physics, Jim.
Bridge to engine room, warp factor 9.
Oh, if I give it any more, she'll blow, Captain.
You know, we probably should have title cards for all our music going forward. The artists who let us use this music are very kind to give us license, and we want to make sure they're identified. So I'll continue to work on adding those as we go forward. As you can tell, we're having, Eve, as you can tell, we're having a ton of fun with the video format. And we just are absolutely thrilled to continue adding features and doing fun stuff with this going forward. So stick with us as we build this show into something really neat and significant. Every week I learn how to do something else. Eve St. George, ladies and gentlemen, the epitome of class.
Hi.
Of course, that class is at Satan's School for Girls. Now, we're just about ready to close up. This is the point in the show where we do closing thoughts, and we will have a longer show next week, and eventually we'll get back up to 9 to midnight. In the meantime, those of you who are watching after the fact on YouTube probably never made it past the first 25 minutes, but you'll be glad we're wrapping early. Eve, anything to close on?
Well, I heard the doctor is in the market for a new home.
The doctor?
His real estate agent said he asked for an open floor plan.
Why an open floor plan?
Because it makes the house look bigger on the inside.
Oh. You know, I had a scary joke about math to tell, but I'm not going to because I'm too squared.
Okay, 4, whatever you say.
So, closing thoughts this week. It's been a very interesting start to the year. I don't, without getting into opinions, which, you know, I never, ever do.
Not you.
No. Without getting into opinions, I cannot remember the last time a year started, and by day 4, so many insane things had happened out in the world. And all I can say at this point is, everybody, please, take care of yourselves. We cannot do this show without you, and we can't imagine not logging into chat and seeing each and every one of you there. Now, one last piece of business. Jason's movie quote.
A young politician must seek outside aid in dealing with a trade dispute.
We offered that up at the beginning of the show, and as most of you guys in chat know, I believe crewman Kellner guessed it. Laura guessed that that was a very bad plot description of Star Wars The Phantom Menace. So, Laura, the points go to you this week, and eventually we'll tell you what you can redeem them for. In the meantime, guys, we will see you all in 7. While we are away, enjoy Phantom Star TV. Silent Movie Sundays starts at midnight, and it starts with The Thief of Baghdad, starring Douglas Fairbanks. Only available to us as of January 1st, as it just literally fell into the public domain at the beginning of the year. And it is the original action movie. Take a look if you get a chance, and we'll see you in 7. Good night, everybody.
I never had much luck with girls. They never like to read and learn, but I like to. And if I could figure out the cosine of your heart, that'd be a good start. Oh yes it would. I never try to date offline. Use algorithms built to find a 7 of 9. So if you look half as great as Aaron on Farscape, you'll be my first mate. 'Cause baby, we'll be in the chat room on the IRC, out at the VidCon, a Star Trek costume for me, down in the dungeon, roleplay D&D, and baby, talk nerdy to me. You know I dress up like Jedi Knights or Klingon guys. My face are gonna set you fry. I'll be a fanboy in my Starfleet uniform. It matches the one worn by Leonard Nimoy. So baby, we'll be in the chat room on the IRC out at the VidCon. The Star Trek costume for me, down in the dungeon, roleplay D&D, and baby, talk nerdy to me. PC, pick up that guitar and talk to me. Cause baby, we'll be in the chat room on the IRC out at the VidCon. Start the costumes for you and me down in the dungeon, roleplay D&D, and baby, talk nerdy to me, yeah. And baby, talk nerdy to me, yeah, 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 yeah. And baby, you know,
Talk nerdy to me. Ooh.